Today we got a trouble call. The electrician called and said that somebody in the cottage got an electrical shock, and he came out and checked it out, and he found out that the ground rod pipe had pushed up into the bottom of the meter base and was currently energized, and he needs a disconnect so he can fix it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is disconnect the one. Don't touch this, but you can see how that ground rod is bent and it's pushed up in the bottom of the meter base, and is now currently sitting on one of the energized lugs. And so this is all electricalized. So I have to go up top and cut the blocks. I gotta go get a pair. This technically isn't MB Power stuff, but there's a tree that's broken off and hanging over the road. I'm just going to cut it down so it doesn't land on somebody's car. Before I do that, I guess I better get a helmet on here. Hold that stick for a second, bud. Thank you. There. Going above and beyond the Call of Duty. Yep. Today we've got a no power call, and we've got a fuse on a door switch that's open. So I'm going to refuse that door and turn the power back on to the homes. We just have to set the truck up here first. to ascend up there in the bucket. I'm going to open that door up, take the door out, refuse it, and close it back in, get the power back on. There's what the fuse looks like right here. This is a 15 amp fuse, and this cartridge right here, a little thin wire in here, and when there's a direct short to ground like a squirrel or a tree, this little fuse in here melts and there's a big explosion, and it's forced down through the tube and the cutout, and then the spring loaded and the door falls down. So I'm just going to replace this, and this little item right here is only pennies, and it protects the system. So I'm going to go aloft and refuse the cartridge in the door and get the power back up. To it. We're just checking to make sure the power's on here, so we just come to the transformer that feeds this here particular meter, and the LED's lit up, so they have power. Everything's back on. Couldn't have done it without the main man right here, Alex. All right, this round we're going to do a substation inspection, and we look at everything in here, make sure everything looks good, no unusual noises, everything the way it should be. These substations are always locked. Keep the door shut behind it. First thing I do is I come in, I scan the fence, and I walk right around. As I'm doing that, I look at the equipment that's in the air. I check everything. My eyes hit everything in here. And should there be something that I don't like, I'll if need be, I'll push the panic button to get extra help here. So I'm just checking the fence here right now. I've just scoped the fence right around here. Now I'm looking at the power transformer right here. I'm checking the dial on the end of the big round tank. It's where it's supposed to be. I'm checking for oil leakage. Check the insulators on all the switches, the strain link insulators. I've checked everything right down through here. I'm checking gas targets. I'm checking everything, the grounds on the pipes. You check the silica gel container. This absorbs the moisture inside this power transformer, and as it absorbs the moisture, it continues to change color. And this is good, and this is getting bad. Way up to the top, they'll come in, they'll spin that off, and they'll dump this out, and they'll put new stuff into it. It's just a visual to let you know what's going on. We're going to go into the building, the switch buildings, and we're going to check for targets, alarms, and make sure everything in there looks copacetic. Turn that light on. There we go. Fire extinguisher, we check it. Make sure the gauge is up where it's supposed to be. And I sign that off with a check mark. I come down through here and I make sure I have my red lights on all my breakers. That indicates that everything is good. This one's out of service at the moment. And I check for targets on all my door and windows here. Everything looks good there. So we inspected this building, everything's good. So we'll move across the yard to the other building. This building's even hotter. Same thing again, we're looking for things to be proper. Everything looks good. Another fire extinguisher. I'll check it, make sure that it's where it's supposed to be on the dial. And battery bank. They ask about all that stuff. So you got to look at everything. And that comes with years of experience knowing what's right and what isn't right. So if I find something that doesn't look proper, then if I can handle it myself, I will. If not, I call the appropriate personnel to come take care of it. So.